It's been 2 years since the Bentham Grid went online in New York City. It was a technological marvel. The grid takes all those things unique to you, your social security number, your passport, your debit and credit accounts, and links them to one thing: your DNA. With just a touch, the grid collects a tiny sample of your genetic material, IDing you instantly.
Greg Brewster.
Then a purchase can be deducted directly from your personal accounts, or you can unlock and start your car.
Sid Batista.
And it all works within a margin of error of 0.001%. The ultimate social network. No cash has to change hands. No ID cards have to be shown. No keys have to be carried.
Saki Kashiwa.
Today, you can't do anything in New York City without the grid knowing who you are and where you are.
Julia Richards.
After just 6 months in service, the state legislature passed an unprecedented bill giving law enforcement complete access to the grid's data. As a result, there hasn't been a reported case of identity theft in over 18 months. NYPD case clearances have soared above 90%, and fugitives have been found and captured in record numbers.
Thank you for using the grid.
Mayor Reed, I think the question everyone here is asking is the right to privacy effectively dead in New York City?
The crime rate in this city is now lower than that of Cheyenne, Wyoming. I think anyone, including my fellow law-abiding New Yorkers, would happily sacrifice a little bit of privacy for that kind of personal safety.
Using X-rays to X-ray you while you drive around. That's right, using the same technology that's in those airport scanners. Feds are now using these mobile X-ray vans, and they can see through cars, walls, and clothing. Joining us now is Mark Rotenberg, who's the Executive Director of Electronic Privacy Information Center. Mark, it's good to see you. We live in a very dangerous world. There are people who want to hurt us and hurt us badly. What is wrong with the government using this technology in an attempt to keep us safe?
Well, I think in some circumstances it's appropriate. New technologies do help make us safe. But we also have important laws in this country. We have the Constitution, which basically say to the police that if they're going to conduct a search, there has to be probable cause, there has to be judicial approval. What we don't want is the police investigating everybody. We want them investigating the bad guys.
You know, it's clear that the terrorists are trying to change tactics a little bit. We had the New York City Police Commissioner here yesterday, and he confirmed that this is really what's going on now, sort of smaller, coordinated attacks, like the kind that was foiled over in Europe this week. This is exactly the kind of thing that terrorists might use a truck or a vehicle for, to sort of load it up with some explosive material, drive up to a ballpark or a mall or a federal building, as we've seen in this country. Isn't this exactly what the bad guys are trying to do? And isn't this a good way to try to prevent that from happening?
Well, whether or not it's effective is actually a very important question. We've got a lot of body scanners, for example, going into the airports in the United States today, and there's really an open question right now whether or not those devices will be effective in detecting, for example, powdered explosives. That's also a risk with a vehicle. You can conceal a powdered explosive within a vehicle which would not be detected by one of these new X-ray devices. So it's not obvious, even with these new technologies and the enormous sacrifice in privacy, that will necessarily be safer.
What do you say, though, Mark, to those people out there who say, you know what, I'm willing to take that chance, and I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of my personal privacy so that I can be protected, myself, my family, my country. What do you say to those people?
Well, I think it's a dangerous way to view the world, actually. I mean, the threats are real. I think we need smart solutions and smart responses. I also think part of defending our country is about defending our way of life, our Constitution, and our freedoms. And if we decide to start giving those things away, I think we're already on a path to losing the battle.
Backscatter van from American Science and Engineering. From the outside, the ZBV looks like an ordinary delivery van, allowing it to blend in to urban and other landscapes. Yet, as it passes by cars, trucks, containers, and other objects, its unparalleled X-ray screening system provides photo-like images, detecting explosives, weapons, contraband, and stowaways. These images can be immediately analyzed by the operator seated in the ZBV's cab. The ZBV is the perfect screening tool for seaports, military bases, border crossings, checkpoints, and any other locations where illegal material or IEDs can be smuggled in via cars, trucks, or other vehicles. Using AS&E's unique backscatter technology, the ZBV produces electronically generated X-rays that detect substances containing low atomic number elements, such as carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. These elements are often present in explosives and other contraband. The ZBV is an ideal tool for detecting these threats in vans, buses, cars, trucks, cargo containers, dumpsters, densely foliated trees and shrubs, and any other objects or containers where dangerous items can be concealed. The ZBV is not only incredibly effective, but also very easy to use. It can be operated by either 1 or 2 people and is up and running within minutes. The operators can view the objects as they're being scanned, and by using AS&E's image analysis tools, they can manipulate, enhance, and save these images. The bottom line is that within minutes, your operator will know whether potentially dangerous materials are present. The ZBV provides still another important tool, radioactive threat detection. This feature can find both dirty bombs and nuclear devices. The ZBV is not only effective and mobile, but also safe. The radiation levels are very low, equivalent to the exposure passengers would receive if they flew in an airplane for 15 minutes. In summary, the ZBV is clearly the most effective screening vehicle on the market today. It's smaller, lighter, and safer than anything else available today, yet costs much less than other mobile X-ray screening systems. The ZBV, a solution for today's security officials.
So you get into your vehicle, you fire up the engine, and you're off. But what most drivers don't realize is that in over 90% of vehicles on the road, there is a box inside the dashboard taking note of every move.
They're very similar to the sorts of black boxes that you'd find in planes. They don't collect voice or images like the ones in planes do.
The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration wants to require the event data recorders in all new cars by 2014. So every time you step into your car, you put your foot in the accelerator or you press the brake, it becomes a part of your digital driving history. Now the question is that a privacy issue?
It's a privacy issue because NHTSA has not imposed caps on the amount of data that can be collected.
A Star TSP caller on the line.
For Georgia State Patrolman Lieutenant Wade Chafin, the data from the box helps turn a vehicle into an objective witness.
We want that information. It could either, pretty much implicate somebody that's violated a law, or it could exonerate somebody. And all of this connects and hooks us to your vehicle.
With old-fashioned police work and the data recorder, more and more investigators are using the technology, especially in cases that involve fatalities.
Naturally, in a crash, a lot of these components are disrupted, so we have to know several different ways of obtaining that information.
The information can reveal engine speed, whether seat belts were buckled, and more. And moving forward, the recorders could have potential impacts on insurance and possibly even your rates.
If insurance companies want to ask drivers' consent to collect data like that, absolutely. But it should be only with the driver's consent, and it should not be a requirement.
But many want even more protection, so insurance companies have a tougher time of accessing the information. Robert Ray, Associated Press, Atlanta.
I was hearing this banging on the basement door, which is the door that leads into the hydrometers that are in here. And so I leave my bed and I come down here and I sit right here on the step and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna film this.
Sorry. I'm just putting in your meters. Your power's gonna be up for about 20, well, when I find the meters. They're down here, right?
I'll show you the door. I'd heard her banging, but I didn't know that she actually kicked the door in until she left. Because when she left, I came here and I found this on the ground. I was like, wow, she actually kicked the door in. We've since repaired the door. We've put these do not install a smart meter sign on our door.
As part of the 2009 U.S. bailout, $3.4 billion was funneled into a national smart grid stimulus, later increased to $11 billion. This created a scenario where utilities were given a massive financial incentive to go along with the program.
They're being found in pilot programs now, smart grids are, to really save no energy whatsoever.
So who benefits?
I got a bill in December for $1,107. There's got to be a mistake.
No mistake, says PG&E. After reviewing their accounts, the company says their meters were working correctly, just like those of the 1,500 other Californians who complained. Consumer advocate Mindy Spad says that still doesn't explain something else.
Customers with the smart meters claim that their energy usage has inexplicably risen since the meters were put in.
So in other words, it makes it look like all of a sudden they're using twice as much energy as they used to use.
Exactly.
We start the week with an explosive investigation into the massive mistakes being made with power bills. Serious flaws affecting every electricity user with a smart meter have been uncovered. And when this whistleblower told his power company what he'd found, they offered to pay him off. This exclusive investigation by James Thomas has sparked calls for a national inquiry.
I think the question everyone here is asking is the right to privacy effectively dead in New York City?
The crime rate in this city is now lower than that of Cheyenne, Wyoming. I think anyone, including my fellow law-abiding New Yorkers, would happily sacrifice a little bit of privacy for that kind of personal safety.